Not understanding hair growth and length retention cost me years of stagnant growth. My natural hair journey was so difficult because I was stuck at a particular length for such a long time, which left me feeling so confused and overwhelmed. So, I'm going to be sharing with you things I've learned along the way that has really helped me to be able to grow my natural hair and just make my natural hair journey so much easier. So, keep watching for all that information. For as long as I can remember being natural, I've been solely focused on hair growth, and even as I've been focused on hair growth, my hair was still stuck at a particular length for 6 years. I was not able to see length. My hair was just stuck at a particular length, and it didn't even occur to me that my hair didn't move past a particular length for such a long time. And first, I just had to understand hair growth. Like, I had to do research on hair growth and understand it better because when it comes to buying hair growth oils, hair growth butter, using the next best viral thing, I've done it and I've come to realize that that is not how you're going to see length on your hair. So I had to shift my mentality and start focusing on length retention. Understanding hair growth and understanding length retention is the best way for you to see a major change in your natural hair. When it comes to hair growth, you should understand that your hair grows regardless. Once I finally understood that no matter what I do to my hair is still constantly growing, and that shifted my mentality. So I stopped focusing on the hair growth, and since my hair is growing, I should work on the next best thing that would work for me, which is length retention. When it comes to hair growth, your hair grows half an inch to an inch every single month. So every single month you're guaranteed an inch and half an inch. So what you should do is make sure you are retaining what you're getting. You can do other things, like if genetics is working for you, you might get more, and maybe if you're doing some other treatments to just help your hair. But when it comes to your hair growth, you can't really speed your hair growth. It's just genetics. So I'm just going to bluntly say it. Stop focusing on hair growth. If you're just focusing on hair growth, you're killing your natural hair journey. You're not going to see length. You're not going to be able to break out of that stagnant growth. Just shift your mentality from hair growth and start focusing on length retention. Once you're focused on length retention, you will start doing the things that will help in your length retention journey, which I'm going to share with you. Now we're going to be talking about length retention. And one thing about length retention is like the actual name of it, your retaining length. I spoke about how your hair grows regardless, so you just have to retain what you're getting. If you're able to retain the hair you're getting, you would start seeing length. So the first thing I'm going to say is that your routine is very important. When it comes to length retention, you need to focus on your routine, and also for you to retain length you need to reduce breakage on your hair. And one way you can reduce breakage is making sure you're caring for your hair. Once your hair is being cared for, you're strengthening your hair, you're adding moisture to your hair. It's very important for you to have a routine you are doing to your hair. For me, I have a weekly routine I do to my hair, which is my wash day routine and my moisture routine. With these particular routines, my hair stays moisturized every single week. You need to make sure that your hair is not dry, because once it comes to dry hair, your hair breaks and it's just a whole mess. And I would say when you're doing your routine, focus on your ends. Your ends are literally the oldest part of your hair, and if you want to retain length, the huge game changer is focusing on your ends. They are old, and if you don't focus on them, they would break off. And once your hair is growing and your ends are breaking, that's stagnant growth there. So you need to make sure that your ends are always moisturized. So if you're applying your products to your length, to your hair, to your scalp, also focus on your ends. You need to make sure they are moisturized and they are protected. Another hack is that keeping your ends away, like tucked in away after doing your routine, making sure your ends are tucked in, wearing your bonnet when you're lying down, just keeping your ends protected should be your focal point, and making sure you have a routine you're doing to your hair, because dry hair breaks, and just keep your hair moisturized and careful is a way you can keep your hair looking good and also protected. Moving on to treatment, I'm a huge advocate for treatment because you need to elevate your routine, and one way you can do that is incorporating treatments to your hair. I always say treatment is a way for you to strengthen your hair, reduce hair loss, and also other benefits treatment play a huge role in your hair. So I would say invest in a good treatment. So let's talk about technique. When it comes to your length retention journey, your technique is very, very important. How you care for your hair, how you detangle your hair, how you take down your hair. Those are very, very, very important things. The way you handle your hair helps your hair not to break. So I would say be very gentle when you're doing your hair. If you're detangling your hair, I always recommend you using your fingers and don't use the tangling brush because you can easily tell where the knots are and you'll be able to take them down properly. Your main goal for length retention is minimizing breakage or no breakage at all. Try to minimize that and you'll be able to retain more length. So I would say be gentle with your hair. The way you do your technique, the way you care for your hair is very, very important in this your length retention journey. And also when you're doing your routine, also be careful not to pull or cause any tension on your scalp. Anything that will make your hair break, just try to avoid that and trust me, you would start seeing length. Just be very patient and careful when it comes to doing anything around your natural hair or your hair in general, and you would start seeing results. This video would not be complete if I don't talk about protective hairstyle because this is a game changer for length retention. This was what actually changed my hair. With my protective hairstyle, I still keep up with my routine, my treatment, my technique, all of that. I do that on a protective hairstyle. So when it comes to protective hairstyle, I would say focus on long-term protective hairstyle. I spoke about hair growth and how your hair grows regardless and you should focus on length retention. One way to be able to retain the hair you're growing is long-term protective hairstyle. Keeping your hair tucked away, free from manipulation, tension, or any stress. Once you can reduce breakage, you're going to retain length, and one way to do that is just keeping your hair in long-term protective hairstyle. Most people would say they can't keep their hair long, but one thing I'm going to tell you is that I've tried every single thing. Like I've done experiments, I've tried it, and what I've come up with is that long-term protective hairstyle is the easiest and fastest way to actually retain length. Because I've done 1 month in a protective hairstyle, I've done 2 months in a protective hairstyle, and currently I'm doing 3 months because that's like the perfect number. Because if you're going above 3 months, you're doing 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I would say when you're taking down your hair, you would experience more breakage because you experience like more tangles and matting. So 3 months is like the best, like is the best number for you to be able to keep your hair long and retain all that length. So let's do I like calculating things in math for me. So if you're retaining half an inch to an inch every single month, that means you're like getting like 3 inch, or maybe if you're lucky 1.5 inch every single month. If you're manipulating your hair every single week, like you like to change your hairstyles frequently, your hair is breaking more than your retaining length because after that week is over, you've lost more hair compared to what you're going to retain for that whole month. So that's why I said 3 months protective hairstyle is the best thing you can do for your hair. And when I say picking the right protective hairstyle is very, 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 very important, because if you pick the wrong protective hairstyle, you will get the opposite result of what you want. You need to make sure you're picking the right protective hairstyle for your particular type of hair. Know what type of hair you have, whether you have fine or thick hair. It helps you to pick the right protective hairstyle for you. I was using the wrong protective hairstyle, like adding extensions to my hair, and it caused my hair to break so much. So once I stopped adding extensions and just focused on doing my natural hair without extensions, my hair started thriving so much better. And I realized I had fine hair, so all that extra weight on my hair was not good for my hair. So knowing what type of hair you have is very, very important for picking the right protective hairstyle for you. But I always recommend not adding extensions, because when it comes to long-term protective hairstyle, you don't want extra weight on your hair, like weighing down on your hair, because it's a very long protective hairstyle. And also because you want to have access to your hair to do all your routine. Once your hair is in with braids with extensions, you don't have that much access to your hair. So in summary, I would say long-term protective hairstyle is the way to go for you to retain more length on your hair. Just make sure you're consistent with your routine, you're doing your treatment, you're being careful with your hair, you're not being rough. And also very, very important is your takedown process. That's like the last step in this whole thing. And your takedown process is one thing you should be very careful of. That's when technique comes into it. Being careful in your detangling, the way you handle your hair, just being patient because it's going to take a while for you to take down whatever protective hairstyle you have on. I will always recommend you doing like medium braids or medium twist. I'm going to be switching to that because mini braids, mini twist, it takes such a long time and you might get restless and tired. And once you're doing your hair when you're tired, you tend to be rough. That's why I said that 3 months is the best time for you to do your whole challenge because you'll be able to not experience so much tangles and matting and you can easily take down your hair. I would say that if you want to start this your length retention journey, you can subscribe to my channel because I do a whole challenge on this particular theme and I've been able to document my whole journey. I just did a 1 year recap on this whole journey and my hair has grown so much. I've been able to retain so much length. So if you want more information on that, you can subscribe. And if you have any questions concerning anything I've mentioned or you want any like another video explaining whatever I've mentioned in more detail, you can leave that in the comment section. Any questions you have, leave that in the comment section. And that's all for this. I really hope and wish you the best in your journey, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.